I saw this giant duck floating in the water in my dream. When I woke up, I felt like doing a competition. The Float a Duck competition. I want to try and float ducks made of different materials. Let's do this. For that, I have a tray full of water here. The first candidate is a paper duck. Let's try and float it. Oh no! Looks like the little duck can't stay. Now I have a duck made of sugar for the competition. Let's place it on the water and see. Oh no, this also sank. And where's the duck? I can't find the duck in the water. It looks like there was no sugar duck at all. But where did all this sugar go? Well, the sugar didn't magically disappear. It got dissolved in water. Such materials that dissolve in water are called soluble materials. Some materials like sugar dissolve in water while others don't. Can you guess which of these materials are soluble in water? Salt is soluble, while sawdust and sand are insoluble as they don't dissolve in water. What about liquids like vinegar and oil? Are they soluble in water? Let's check. If we pour vinegar in water, it gets dissolved. So, it's soluble. And now what about oil? Oil forms a different layer. Well, as we saw, oil doesn't dissolve in water, so it is not soluble. Like that sand, chalk powder and sawdust are also not soluble in water. Such materials that do not dissolve in water are called insoluble materials. Now, let's continue with our little competition. I have a rubber duck and a metal duck. Let's see if they float. Look, the rubber duck is floating, whereas the metal duck sank. Like other properties, we can also sort materials based on whether they float or sink in water. Oil is another material that floats on water. Notice how the layer of oil floats on top of the water. Not all materials float. Some others sink in water too. Coins, marbles, folk, rocks. Now what about honey? Does it float or sink? Honey settled at the bottom of the beaker, so it sinks. Look at the rubber duck floating. Let me take out the metal one then. This duck is very different from the rubber duck. It feels very hard. The hardness of the materials is another property by which we can sort materials. So, the materials which cannot be easily compressed, cut, bent or scratched, just like iron, are called hard materials. Can you guess which of them is a hard material? Copper bottle is a hard material. Then what are cotton, sponge and rubber? Unlike hard materials, some other materials can be easily compressed, bent or scratched. Such materials are called soft materials. Cotton, sponge, rubber, clay and wool are all soft materials. So, out of all the ducks I had, only the rubber one could stay afloat. So rubber duck is the winner. Well, that's the end of our float a duck competition. Oh, but I have one more candidate for our competition. Here we go. This one can float and looks exactly like the duck in my dream. Looks like my dream has come true. You keep looking around and maybe conduct a float a toy competition of your own at home. And remember, we stay curious.